Welcome to the WedCopodcast, your ultimate guide to the wedding world. Whether you're a bride, groom, or wedding vendor, this is the place to be. Join us as we dive into real stories, expert advice, and behind-the-scenes insights to help you plan the perfect day. So grab a seat and let's celebrate love, connection, and creativity together. Before we get into this episode, I'd love to ask you a super quick and easy favour. If you're enjoying the WedCopodcast, please hit that follow button on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. It might seem small, but it makes a huge difference in helping the podcast grow and means I can keep bringing on amazing vendors to share their insights with you. Thank you so much for your support. It truly means the world. Hello and welcome to the WedCopodcast. I'm Toga and today we're at Maroon Hill Estate and I just wanted to say we got Kat on the couch with us. Garden Graffiti, how you going?
Good, how are you?
Thank you so much for coming out.
That's all right. It was a nice drive.
It's beautiful. I just like all the rolling hills on the way out there and
it was amazing.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Couple podcasts on the way out.
Yes, I actually listened to one of these ones because I was trying to prepare.
How'd you go with
what
the
are you going to
preparing?
ask me? Yeah, it was good. I think I got gist of it. Let's hope it's okay.
Feeling good?
Yeah.
Well, like typically would kind of start with a little bit of a backstory, I guess, behind the brand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how long you've been in the industry and how it kind of came about, essentially.
Yeah, so I've got kind of a long story. I mean, I've got a bit of time to kill, right? So I kind of graduated from Bachelor of Fine Arts, like when I finished high school and then did uni. And then I kind of realized pretty quickly it wasn't really my vibe. So I went back to TAFE to study floristry and I was able to work with a really good wedding florist here for that year. And I know just it really came to me that like this is what I want to do. So it was a really clear moment and I really, really loved that. But travel had always been a big part of my life. And I was like, I think I really want to move somewhere and live in a different city. So I moved to London and I was like, the flowers are going to be awesome. The variety and the events and weddings there, so much more people and population and kind of money as well for like the events. So I was like, this is going to be really good. So I moved to London and I freelanced for a little bit and I managed to get like a full-time job at a florist in East London in Hackney. And they're called Rebel and they had like really awesome brand, awesome people. They're definitely more like the wildflower kind of garden picked kind of style. And I really, really, really enjoyed that kind of style. That's what I kind of resonated with. And yeah, I had an awesome time. I could go to the flower market and then like pick all these bunches that I wanted and was like, that's on the tab. And like this, like pulling out everything.
I'll take that.
Looking back now, I'm like, how did they let me do that? Like as a business owner, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't really have a budget, did I? Like what? So yeah, that was an awesome experience. I really kind of felt like confident in what I wanted to do. And, you know, my visa ended after 2 years and the company that I was working with in London, they had just opened an Italian flower school. So I kind of was like, you know what, after my like European summer, I was like, I'm going to go there and then work and teach at the flower school. So that was another awesome experience and like cherry on top of the cake. So I was just teaching kind of bouquets and installations in Tuscany.
Far out.
I know,
Okay.
pretty cool experience. So I was like loving it. And then I moved back to Australia. And for some reason, I'm like, I just couldn't call Brisbane like the place where I wanted to stay. I kind of, which is weird because I'm here now. Yeah. But yeah, for some reason I was like, no, I'm going to go to Melbourne. I think I kind of liked the vibe of the city more. So I kind of moved there and I kind of stayed there for like a little bit under a year. But it was very different like style than I was used to. And I kind of felt like I got into a bit of a funk because I wasn't able to use like the flowers that London kind of provided. And they're like, yeah, so about half the stock in London, like we can't really get here in Australia. And it just like really blew my mind and kind of threw me off. Because I was like, I can make something so pretty there without much effort.
And were they just local flowers, like close to London, like European?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, they're right, like close to Amsterdam, right? So like that's a huge grower there. But other of them are local as well. It's just like the climate in like England is just a little bit more easier for flowers, especially the delicate kind of flowers. A lot easier to grow there. The sun is and the heat is just too harsh sometimes. Yeah. So yeah, I went to Melbourne and I was like, I don't know, the style just felt very different from that English style. And everything was really straight and really stiff. And I'm like, I don't know, like I'm not really loving this. And it kind of made me think like, I don't know if I can make like anything nice again. Yeah. And I was like going through like, I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And I kind of questioned like what I was going to do for a little while. And I think after like coming up to a year in Melbourne, I was like, no, I need to like get out of the funk. I need to just like do something spontaneous, like impulsive, and like kind of reinvigorate like my love for flowers a little bit. So I booked a ticket to New York. A friend,
as you do,
I was like, you know what, I think I'm done here. I'm just like packed up and just like,
yep.
And then just went to New York, and I have a friend there who was like freelancing at the time. And so, yeah, I freelanced there for like the summer, like for 3 months there, and really loved it. Like worked on some cool, like amazing events like Carnegie Hall. We did like huge Hamptons weddings. Like I did my first like 18-hour shift, which which was like pretty mental. But yeah, so love the New York vibe. I think they really encapsulated something a bit more contemporary and edgy. But then had like a lot of the stock there as well that I kind of knew from London. So I really liked kind of both of those styles. So I was living in like Brooklyn in Bushwick at the time. Have you been to like Brooklyn? Yeah. And I don't know if like when I was there in like it was like 2018, I think. And it was like very much a hustle culture, and everyone is like working on their side business, side hustle. Everyone's in the cafes, like on their laptops, like working all the time. And I was like, you know what, like this is like kind of reinvigorated me to like start my own business and like be my own boss. So I was kind of freelancing and then just being in the cafe and trying to like, you know, figure out what I wanted as a brand and like what names I kind of that resonated with me. And so I, you know, kind of liked this garden style, like from London. So I kind of wanted to pay like homage to that like English style of floristry. And then, yeah, Bushwick is like the street art capital of like America. So lots of murals, street art graffiti on the sidewalks. And I thought that was really cool and edgy. So I kind of put the graffiti with the garden, and that kind of became Garden Graffiti.
How
so it's
amazing.
kind of like two different styles, and I was like, this is it. And that's kind of where I started to move back to Brisbane with like kind of that in mind.
Yeah. Well, like when I look at your brand, like it feels very solid. You know exactly what you are.
Yeah.
And kind of when you were talking about Rebel earlier, I don't know that brand, but I feel the same way just hearing that name as well. Like you're very sure of yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
I might back up a little bit. So you went originally, you went a little like originally from Australia over to London. And you started freelancing over there.
Yeah.
Had you built up a little portfolio for yourself here? Like how did you go about getting a freelancing position over in London? Yeah,
it was a little bit difficult, but I really I had that work with that florist here for a year, and I was able to use some of those images as well in my portfolio. But yeah, so going to London, the pay was pretty bad. I think my first shift was like £7 an hour, which was like $14. But you know, you just do it, right? So yeah, I was kind of freelancing for different people. I worked at a few different florists there. One of the jobs I had was like a Knightsbridge. I don't know if you know Knightsbridge, Mayfair area in London. Like it's very posh, very proper. People spending a lot of money. But it's very much more like round bouquets. And I just was not good at that. Like I was like, this is not where I am and what I like and what I like to do. Yeah. So then I had like an opportunity to like get a full-time job there, a full-time job with Rebel. And yeah, luckily that kind of came up and it went in that direction. But yeah, I had a really good time, really good people. And like the style was really fun. Like we did the BAFTA awards as well. So we had like some cool events. But yeah, I think they had more of like that kind of wild style like as well, which I really, really enjoyed. Yeah.
Did you, we'll go forward in a bit about your team, but like, did you learn a lot from Rebel and the way they ran their team?
Yeah.
Is that kind of, you're using a bit of that in your business
definitely. Now? Funnily enough, they like promoted me to like the shop manager like during this time, and I like had no obviously experience in managing people. So that was kind of an interesting experience managing people, right? It's like a very different kind of like skill set.
It's not why you get into floristry to manage people.
Exactly. But I actually like really liked that part as well, and I liked having like a team. And they were also very hands off, which I like. So they weren't like micromanaging, which I try to do that like with my team as well. Like I'm not going to stand over their shoulder and like relook it in every single thing that they do, because you need to have that trust there. I think
And that just builds trust in them as well. Like they're like, okay, I'm going to actually do, I'm going to put all into this because you're giving that trust.
Yes, exactly.
Otherwise, it's almost like they don't take responsibility for their work because you're always kind of looking over their shoulder.
Yes, exactly. So yeah.
So then how, like coming back, I would have assumed like going to Melbourne, I feel like you would have had more like kind of edgy styled weddings being down there, but that didn't eventuate.
Yeah, I just find this styles like is just different. And I think it was just different from like the style that I was used to here, in London. And yeah, the product really threw me. Like it really just kind of like, I was like, I can't like, nothing is floaty and like dancing and moving in the bouquet, because like the products we had like didn't really allow that. Like everything felt very like straight stem. But then like over time, I think I have like learnt that skill a little bit as well, like having your own business, and I think Australian florists are actually like really good. And I think they're kind of a bit like ahead of their like other people or other peers, maybe globally, because we have like a reduced amount of product that we need to work with, and we need to make sure we're thinking about each placement.
Yeah, and being, I guess, a lot more creative with the product that you do have.
Exactly. So we have to think a little bit harder, and I don't think I really thought that hard. Like in London, I was making things because like the flowers are so good. It's like you don't really need to put a lot of thought into it. But here, it's like you really actually need to think about it. And I think that's why Australian florists are actually like very good.
Is there a lot, like, would there be many florists that do really well in Australia and then they do make the move over to, say, like Europe or something like that and do really well over there?
I think so, yeah. I think that would definitely be a case.
And even I would assume, like, higher budgets. You're talking in London, you got pretty healthy budgets with the weddings over there. And then all of a sudden you've got this creativity.
Yes.
Because you can just, okay, we're going to get this.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I definitely, even in New York, there was actually a lot of Australian freelancers over there, and I talked to one of the business owners and she's like, oh yeah, if you're Australian, like we'll hire you. Like it's something about the work ethic and like this style that if you can make something look good with like limited products, you can make something look amazing with a heap amount of products. Yeah.
They even say that with photographers here, wedding photographers, if you can kind of get nice photos in Australia just because of how harsh that sun can be.
Yes.
And then like you go to when you go to Europe and the sun's going down at like 10 o'clock, and you're like, this is the best.
You got so much time.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, it's like this is the dream.
Yeah, it's like too hot or it's like night. And you're like, oh, damn it.
I missed that 15 minutes on the Gold Coast.
I know.
And so how long have you been back in Brisbane now after going to New York and then coming back here?
So it's been about 7.5 years since I've been back. It sounds like a very long time.
Do you want to talk about that process since being back in Australia?
Yeah. So I kind of started for my parents' laundry. Like I'm obviously privileged enough to be able to have parents that I could like move back, live at home with. So I did that for like 10 months. I literally had like $0. Actually, I might say like there's this program that the government offered called like the NEIS program. It was part of like a Centrelink program, like NEIS. And it actually was really helpful for me because it is means tested. But basically, if you started a business, I'd pay you like $300 a week to work on your business for like 9 months. And like that, I don't know, just really helped me, especially with like product for shoots, because when you're starting out, you just kind of need to do photo shoots a lot because you've got no content, right? You need to have content to get people to book you. So I don't know, I found that really helpful. And like, so if people starting out, maybe look into that program.
That could be the difference between having to go, like you said earlier, you're pretty lucky, or not lucky, like you chose like, no, I don't want to work for this person. Yeah. Where like a lot of people would just be like, well, I just need money. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's 10 years later and you're still working for that person.
Yes, exactly.
So that kind of gives that opportunity to build your own thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I did that, and I also freelanced as well for like probably up until like 4 years ago where I stopped freelancing for other florists. But obviously you needed to do that as well because you needed the extra income. And then I kind of moved out into like a house in Paddington in Brisbane, and some of my friends lived at the top of the house and like I just kind of worked from a big like double garage, and there was a big like kind of space underneath for office and studio and things like that. So I kind of worked from home for like 4 years. And then I was about 2 years ago, then I bought an apartment myself, and then, needed a space. So then we moved out into a studio in Milton. Yes.
Have you noticed a big shift since you did have that space in Milton?
Yeah, it's much better like lifestyle, but much better lifestyle balance. Yes. I can like come home and then like, I hardly really work after 6 p.m. like anymore. I used to do it all the time. Like I used to always just like, in my dressing gown, like go into the garage and like finish an arrangement at like midnight and then like walk back into my bed. Like it was way too close to home.
I'll just do it real quick.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden hours later.
Yes. So it was a lot of that, I think, the first like few years. But now, it's like, I leave and then I go home like, cool. And it's like clean. It's not a mess, which is so nice.
Would you have like brides and grooms coming to your space? Like do they come in there for meetings at all?
Yeah. So we can do that. We've got like an area with a couch and everything that people can come and sit. I think usually we'll kind of book someone on like a video chat or a phone consultation after we make a proposal for them or before we make the proposal. And then they would usually book in and then if they want to come in and chat, before the wedding, then they can as well. So, yeah.
How far like ahead of the wedding day are you kind of finalizing, say, I mean, like a lot of florists, I feel like they don't really guarantee flower choices, but like when are you kind of locking everything in? Like
so like we would kind of make a proposal. So they make a deposit based on the proposal, and that's pretty like detailed, And then around 2 months before, we'll get in touch just to be like, do you want to finalize anything, edit anything, add something, take something away? And then they can either come in and chat about it. But the thing with like flowers, it's like I've got nothing to show in the studio, right? Because it's like,
here's all the flowers. I just keep here.
Yet. So I'm like, it's kind of empty. I'm like, here is an empty bench. I mean, we have some candles that we like hire out. It's like, here, it's a candle. But like, of course, if they want to like come in and meet and like have a look at the fridge, have a look at some of the vases, they can do that. So about 2 months before we finalize everything. Yeah.
And then like how are most people finding you nowadays?
I think it's through 4 different things. I think stylists, obviously work with stylists, venues, Instagram, and then like a family and friend recommendation. That's probably the main 4 that we get.
Do you have a preferred, like if someone comes from a venue, is that kind of your best kind of lead, or do you have like a preferred lead that you're just like, as soon as someone comes through that method, you're pretty solid on it?
Yeah, there's definitely a few venues that are pretty good. They'll refer us, and that's an easier client obviously to get because we're on their supplier list. We have a chat, we make a proposal they love. Like it's kind of an easier kind of booking. So yeah, I would say venues are probably the easiest. Okay. Yeah.
Even I think talking about that proposal, like as a photographer, videographer, these are kind of the collections we kind of have. If you want less hours, more hours, we kind of just work around that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a very different story for florists.
Yeah.
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 Do you want to talk like what is sending over that proposal? Like what does that look like?
Yeah. So initially we kind of the process is like we have like a wedding guide on our website. So I kind of want people to download this because it has a lot of information about us before they kind of make the next step. And it kind of just like filters out like people that might not be our client. So that will have a lot of imagery in there. It will have like more info on like who we are, what we do, and then have like kind of a guide price. So these are kind of like general pricing. Obviously, it does depend on certain things. So I'm not going to say this is exactly this price, but it is pretty correct. And like this is kind of what you would expect for this kind of amount. So I'm hoping that people kind of go, okay, like here's my budget. I can kind of get some of these things. Cool. All right. We kind of have a similar kind of alignment on budget. And then they would have a phone consult or a video consult with me or like Mon, one of our staff members, and then we make the proposal. So they would kind of send through like 3 to 5 like images, and then kind of our job is to like, see a common thread through the images and then kind of know what they want. And then make the proposal. It includes like 3-page mood board. There'll be like a styling brief. And then everything will be broken down into like your bridal party, your ceremony, and your reception flowers. Pretty honest about like pricing and being really upfront with costs. So like everything is right there, like your bump in, bump out fee. There's like nothing is going to change or be added to that like at the last minute. So that's kind of where the process goes from. And they would make like a 25% deposit based on that kind of that proposal.
So by the time you're sending a proposal, it sounds like they're a bit more of a warm lead by the time you're getting to that stage. It's not like every inquiry comes through like, here, I'm going to spend all this time. Mm-hmm. How long would
we really try and like make sure they're very warm. like proposals are like, they're they're okay. They're not the funnest thing to do all the time.
Like how many, like say
'Cause you would
hours
do a lot,
wise,
like
say it's a 100-person
yeah.
wedding, we've got 10
Yeah.
tables.
Usually
like,
they
do you
take
have
about 3 hours. So it's like if we're doing that for like each inquiry or each person, like it does take a lot of time. So, you know, yeah, we really want them like to be warm before we kind of start that proposal process. And I know some florists like will kind of charge a deposit before they make a mood board. So that's something to think about. But at the moment, I think it kind of works for us trying to get them as warm as possible before they kind of get their proposal.
Yeah. Especially like you said, if they're coming from a venue you work out all the
Yeah.
time, you know they're paying X amount of dollars at this venue.
Yeah.
Like realistically, does like, and even just asking the couple, like, does this work within your budget?
Mhm.
And if they're like, yes, it does, you're like, amazing, you know, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas, yeah, otherwise it's like you send it through and they're like, oh, that's nowhere near me.
I know.
Like, cool,
And
thanks.
that's probably the worst, right? It's like when you spent all this time on it and it's like, oh, it's so far out of the budget. And you're like, okay, well, I just don't want to spend a lot of time on things that I'm, not really getting the reward from.
It's almost like the client also feels bad telling you, like they almost like don't even want to say like you're way above my budget.
Yes.
Like they don't want to offend you.
Yes.
Like just tell me,
Just
please.
say it.
Just
Yeah.
please let me
Just
know.
say it. Yeah. Like we have like brackets like on our website a little bit, you know, in terms of like budget. So kind of like, what are you expecting to spend? And then we kind of work towards that as well. People kind of always choose like a certain bracket and like kind of always go over. So that's interesting as well. So yeah, I think, trying to not spend as much time on proposals.
And I know, like, okay, so we're in 2025 now, and I know the cost of flowers obviously in the last couple of years have changed dramatically. Do you want to talk about, like, say, I don't know, like, would you talk rough bouquet prices, or like, you know, what would be almost like, say, a minimum spend that you would expect on a wedding these days?
Yeah, so we have a minimum spend of like 3,500 plus GST. I would say majority of clients, like our kind of majority, are spending 5,000. That can go between like 5 to 10, I would say, pretty easily. You know, if they like want bridal party, nice ceremony, you know, maybe welcome sign, maybe 2 aisle arrangements, some, you know, table arrangements as well. They're probably pushing, in like your 7, 8 kind of mark. But most people kind of, we find, are kind of in that like 5 to 7 mark.
What would 5 to 7 look like on a wedding day?
Yeah, so I would say your bridal bouquet, you know, maybe 2 or 3 maids, your buttonholes, maybe like a few corsages, something like that. Then you would have like a kind of a statement like ceremony piece, which is probably something that I would say you would want to put your budget towards. And then, you'd have like maybe 2 aisle arrangements, welcome sign arrangement, and then you might have a variety of like some bud vases and some fuller arrangements for your tables.
And then are people repurposing the flowers?
Yeah,
currently?
Yeah, we do that pretty much every wedding. Yeah. It kind of makes sense. Like you're spending the money at your ceremony, you want to kind of enjoy it at your reception. So I would definitely say if you want to spend money, put it in your bridal party flowers and then your ceremony piece as well. Yeah.
And even like you see, I see a lot of florists these days, like having these statement pillars and stuff like that, where you almost don't need as many florals. Back when it was like the big arch, and you kind of need florals like everywhere. Whereas now they've got these beautiful pillars with kind of florals on top there.
Yeah.
I know you work closely with stylists.
Yeah.
Do you try and get these pieces yourself as well, or will you kind of keep that separate?
Yeah. So I guess we're definitely like not a stylist. So we're just a florist, but we do have some stock that kind of come with our flowers. So we have arbors and we have plinths. They are all complementary with our florals. So we don't charge for them, but they're just like part of our booking because they're going to obviously make our pieces look nice and we have that stock. So all our arbors, structures and our plinths are all complementary. All our vases are complementary as well. Like we're not going to charge extra for a specific vase. We do candle hire. So that's tapers and pillars. But we don't do like linen napkins. Like we're not going to go full styling on everything. So we find like for some venues, the flowers and like the candles are enough.
Especially like the beautiful venues you're working at, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't really need a lot, especially if they've got really nice tables. They have nice table linen already. They've got a nice napkin. They've got nice cutlery and plates. Like you don't really sometimes need a huge amount of extra styling. Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the process of working with a stylist? Like say on a bigger wedding where in the UK we do have a defined stylist and florist. Do you want to talk about that relationship?
Yeah. So I guess they would like send through a brief and then of like what the client wants. They've kind of made up the whole brief. They've made the mood board, and they've kind of said, we want this. So then you go and you make your own proposal based on that brief, and then you kind of quote it up, and then you kind of send it back. And I'm assuming the stylist as well is getting a few quotes from other florists as well in this process. But basically we're making towards the stylist brief. Yeah. So you want to make sure like that is executed well. Yeah.
Do you find your stylists, they will know a certain style and they'll know like this is for you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Do you find any less creativity or more creativity when you're working with a stylist? You're talking about, say, I'm not going to say stylists are going to micromanage, but like, do you have this feeling of them looking over your shoulder, or is it kind of like, no, we've hired you for this job and we trust you to do this?
Yeah, I find I felt like that. Like it's like they trust you to do the job. I think I haven't really felt like too much like looking over the shoulder. Pressure. No. So I think I've heard of a few, like I haven't dealt with, but a few other florists I've dealt with, some stylists who have been a bit like that. But luckily I haven't really come across any in my line of work. So that's good. But I kind of like working with stylists. Like sometimes it's nice for someone else to like think of the brief. Like I kind of like it and like, yeah, cool. Sometimes I like being creative in like a guideline. So I kind of enjoy it, getting a different brief from people.
We like, it's not the same, but like even with video editing, we kind of get the videos to say 85% where an editor will do that.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of come in and give like the little creativity on top of that.
Yes.
And I feel like it'd be the same for you. Like, cool, this is a brief. And you're like, cool. And then you can work around that and elaborate.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of nice getting a brief.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about flower markets, say here compared to London and New York?
Yeah.
Is there much of a difference? Like obviously floral choice is a big difference, but was there much more difference between the two there?
In the London and New York markets?
Yeah, and even compared to here, I guess as well.
I think they were pretty similar. I think you could definitely, like London, New York were like, you could get lots of amazing flowers there. But yeah, here definitely like in Brisbane as well. I think Sydney is a bit of a different story. I never worked in Sydney though, so I can't really attest to that. But yeah, Brisbane, it's just, some of the flowers that I worked with in London just aren't here, and like they just can't grow here. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I'm forgetting the names of like so many flowers because I haven't used them in like nearly 8 years now. And I'm like, oh, my flower knowledge is probably like.
You need to go back over there for a couple of years again and just like kind of rehash that.
Right, that's what that was. But yeah, you kind of, in a way, you do get used to it. Like you kind of forget about it.
And you
I think it was just a shock when I kind of initially came here, but now I'm kind of like used to it, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. Let's like work around this. And there is nice product coming through. You know, things always change, they get better. I think it has gotten better as well, like over the last 8 years. But yeah, I definitely found like just this like delicate, like there's like a flower called like fritillaria, and I'm like, where is it? Like it was so beautiful, and it's just I've never seen it since. And like chocolate cosmos, I'm like I've never seen that like here. Yeah. So like little things like that, I'm like, oh, I just really miss them. But you do just become kind of like, okay, this is what we're working with, and it's like that creative mind, like how can we like use these flowers to the best of like our ability. And that's where I think going back to that Australian florist, I think we've got a really good like creative mind, and like it's more about like the depth of the arrangement, I think as well. Like I think that's really important. Yeah. And like the asymmetry, and there's a lot of other things that we can like make interesting about an arrangement that isn't just about the flowers. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Do you feel like you are doing your kind of ideal weddings currently?
Yeah, I think so. And I was kind of saying this before. It's like we do have a certain like umbrella of like brand, like Garden Graffiti. Like it's like romantic but like modern at the same time. Like we're not going to do anything like traditional in that sense. But I do actually like doing a variety of briefs and of like colors and of styles. So, like 2 weekends ago, we did a Summer Grove wedding, and it was like really bold, red, really contemporary, really modern, kind of like on trend at the moment. And then like we go to Braeside the next week, and it's like, French provincial, white and blue, green, very like kind of gardeny and cute, and then like a few days later, then we do like something really autumnal, really like burnt like colors with like lots of texture and lots of like berries and foliages. This week we've got one at the refinery. It's like en masse baby's breath. So like all of those weddings like couldn't be more like different I guess, to the client, but we like it because we can do different things all the time and it gives that variety.
And give you a little spin on it as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, and it's all about like the couple really at the end of the day, like it's their style and what like speaks to them as a couple, right? And like their love story, their colors, their style, what they really want. And then we're just there to like elevate that brief. So that's kind of why I kind of like doing different styles and then different colors as well.
Instead of just being like locked into like this is what we do, and then all of a sudden you're like, cool, we're doing this again.
I know, because I think I would get bored of that. I think I would get bored of having to kind of do the same thing like over and over again. And I know that like some florists do that and like that's like their vibe as well. And I've been like tossing up, I'm like, do I kind of knuckle down onto like a certain style? But I don't know, for me, like I think I kind of enjoy it. I think I enjoy my work better when I have a different brief coming up like every week.
Especially coming back to like you said, you love traveling and you love moving around.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, if all you want to do is work at this one venue, these two venues,
Yes.
and then all of a sudden you work at them a lot and you're like,
yeah,
cool, I'm ready to travel.
Yes,
you know, I'm ready to do something different.
Exactly. And I love having like they're all different venues like every week. It's like different. And I really enjoy that. And it's a different venue style as well.
So, and do you want to talk a little bit? We talked earlier about your team. I'm always interested in this.
Yeah.
Do you hire a lot of like say freelancers, or do you have like full-time staff? How do you work within yours?
So we've got like 2 girls who are like regular. They've been kind of been with me for like 3 years now. So they're kind of pretty much like all year round. And then we obviously have freelancers and contractors. We have a same kind of pool that we kind of go back to, you know, every year. Again, they've kind of been around for like 2-3 years. So like every, you know, March, April, May, be like, hey, cool.
Like, come on.
Get them rostered on. And then same, you know, throughout like August, September, October. So we definitely have like, kind of the 2 like main girls who work with me, and like one of the girls that's a social media and marketing, and she's doing some ordering now as well. And the other girl is also like doing quotes and consults as well. Yeah, so that's like really good. We were talking about like travel earlier, and like I was able to go like to Japan and South Korea for like 3 weeks, you know, like a few weeks ago. And Mon did like 6 consults and like 6 proposals like in that time, and like everyone said yes. And I'm like,
I need to go away more often.
I need to go way more often.
I'm going to move to Japan.
I was like, you know what? Like, that's way better. Like 100% hit rate. Like, I don't think I've ever done that like 6 in a row. Like, I don't think I've even done that myself.
Now Mon is full time doing, and she's quoting everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone.
And like, what did you say in the consult? Like,
yeah, what are you getting on the side?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's also good. Like, kind of slowly, like, you know, upskilling them and like kind of letting like delegating that, and then kind of moving away from this. Yeah.
Because I think like that would be so appreciated by, you know, those people too, is that, they want to do the floristry, they want to do that, but then also learning that part of the business and feeling more valuable and having these other skills.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so much more rewarding than, hey, rock up on a Friday and we're going to do flowers.
Yes, exactly.
And that's kind of it.
Yeah.
So just like integrating them into your business.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think they like kind of feel like more like pride around the business as well, because I've kind of like, you know, like when we get to these ones, she's like, oh, I knew that bride. Like I'm the one who spoke to her. Like I'm the one that like, you know, has seen it through the whole time.
Like done the proposal and then a year later, like, cool, and now we're doing this wedding.
Yes, exactly.
And just I assume even as far as being able to get those freelancers on board after that point, you're like, oh, it's, you know, it's that wedding.
Yes.
They're going to be more excited to kind of work with you as well.
Exactly. So yeah, got a good team. They're like really good. And I really couldn't do it without them. So I should say it more.
Tell them more often.
They're always like, oh, you know, you need to compliment us more. I'm like, oh, fine. So here we go, everyone. Mon, you're great.
And that's I feel like small business owners, they never really get to that stage where they can, you know, it's so hard when you build it yourself and you're kind of building up this thing to actually step away. How was it the first wedding when you weren't there, like to kind of hand that over, you know, to your other team members?
Yeah, definitely. I think it probably took me like a while. I think about a year, I reckon. It probably would have taken me for them to come on site with me, do everything. And then I feel confident for them to like go out and set up the wedding themselves and do the arbor themselves. And now it's like second nature to them. Like they've been doing that for 3 years now. So yeah.
As a business leader, like was that a conscious effort for you? Like, okay, this time we're going to do, you know, the arbors, you're just going to learn the arbors. Like was that a real kind of almost like a training moment for you? Yeah, okay,
yeah,
it was.
Definitely. Yeah, the arbors are definitely like the big moment, right? I think that's like the big piece, the big focal piece of the wedding. So that's, I think, the most important piece. So yeah, it was definitely like going on site all the time with me making the arbor and then doing it a lot until you feel like you're comfortable enough. And yeah, I'm sure like how I felt when I first did my first arbor, you know, and I was spent a year, you know, working with this wedding florist, and she's like finally like, yep, you can do the arbor. I'm like, yes. So excited. Yeah.
I don't think people realize, like, as a business owner, like at the start when you're getting people to help you, you probably don't even need their help. But you're like, cool, I'll bring you along because we're going to kind of teach you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it might have almost been quicker for you to just do it yourself.
Yes.
But that's like you're investing in yourself and in your business
Definitely.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
So now you can go to Japan for 2 weeks.
Yes.
You know, so
Exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah. So now it's like, yeah, you slowly kind of give them more and more, right? Like more jobs and more responsibilities in the business. So now it's like, oh, I could just go. I could just go on holiday like all the time.
So that's
Because I know now like every part of like the business now. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, so bad at the social media. So I'm so glad that M likes doing that because not my vibe.
No, not at all.
So,
Are a lot of your weddings local around this area now?
yeah, they're mainly Brisbane and Gold Coast Hinterland Scenic Rim. That is definitely the majority of where we go to. Yeah.
Would you look at doing any further afield, just even if it was like 1 or 2 a year, just to change it up?
Yeah, like maybe I think I'd be open to it, but also like I think it would be a logistical nightmare. And I don't know, I think there's other florists that do this constantly, and I'm kind of like,
The
go
stress.
there. Like they know what they're doing, you know, they have the experience like to go, you know, Hayman Island and things like that. And like I don't have a huge like want to kind of get involved with those kind of big weddings, like transporting the flowers. It's be so stressful because I'm like, what's going to survive, you know? And then how are you going to get more flowers? And yeah, so I think I'm okay. Just like, you know,
If you're going to Tuscany, you're going just for a holiday.
well,
You're not going
yeah,
because
well, this was a whole thing because my cousin's getting married in Tuscany in a few weeks, right? And I'm like, I just don't really want to do the flowers. Like, and because, you know, I have clients in May and they're my priority, and they're my priority to make sure that they're all looked after. So like I don't want to be stressing about another wedding that I have to do in Tuscany and like buying. Like I just don't have the knowledge really to buy from a farm there. So I ended up getting Rebel actually to do the flowers for her.
Amazing.
So
That's
it's kind
cool.
of come full circle. So
I love
I'll
that.
get to see them all again.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they're going to do the flowers, and I've kind of just been over like more of the styling element for her, just in terms of like stationery and napkins and stuff, which I don't usually do. But I will, yeah, I'm kind of doing that with her. But so yeah, that'll be fun, and I can really enjoy my trip, and I can just go Tuscany and not stress.
And meanwhile, the team will, you know,
And the
they'll do
team will
20
be-
proposals and you'll get all of them.
Yeah, I know.
And
And then I'll like come back and be like, cool, awesome.
I'm going to
I need
Iceland.
to, I
I'm
need
going
to go
here.
away.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like an incentive.
Do you want to talk? So, I mean, I don't really want to bring up like the economy, you know, much,
Yeah.
but like people, they are hurting a little bit.
Yeah.
Are people kind of coming to you and asking for advice like, hey, we love your style, but like, how can we save a little bit of more money? Like, do you have advice for them at all?
Yeah, I think it's just more about like prioritizing what you really want. So that's why I would say, look, if you really had like you really wanted to come with us, and we have that 3,500 like minimum spend, which is probably at 4,000 for them with the GST added on. It's like, okay, well, tell me that, and then I will kind of create a proposal based on those figures. So that's kind of where that would sit. So then I would say, yeah, let's focus on your bridal party, focus on your ceremony florals, make that impact. Then we can just do bud vases for your reception. And it will still look impactful because you've got your ceremony, and then we can move that in. So yeah, I think if people want to go with me, it's kind of like, cool, you've got your own minimum spend, that's fine, we can work with that. We'll just kind of tell you what you can get in a way.
I feel like a lot of couples are, like you said earlier, they're booking the venue and they know they can almost have it bare bones, but it's still going to look really beautiful.
Yes.
Like a lot more couples
Yes.
are kind of going for that now.
Definitely.
And it's like, yeah, just like minimalist, we don't need, you know, $50,000 worth of
Yes.
florals,
Yeah.
but the actual architecture of the building and everything
Yes.
is going to do the work for you as
Yes,
well.
exactly. And it's like those, photo moments at the ceremony. Like that's kind of the key thing, I think, that you really want. Yeah. And like those bridal party photos as well. Like that's kind of when you need the nice florals, really. Yeah.
And movement into reception and you're good.
And then you're fine. You got your big impact piece in the reception, and you got some bud vases, and you know, a lot of people have feasting style now anyway. So it's like, you know, having big stuff on the table in a feasting style is, you know, the venue hates you. The venue like absolutely hates you. So just don't do it to them.
Especially if you want them to recommend you.
Yeah, exactly. I know how many times it happens and you're like, oh, I didn't realize that was feasting style. And then you're like, the staff are just like eyeing you off. And you're like eyeing them off like, don't move them.
Look, we talk a little bit on here to help kind of couples out, and then also we have a lot of vendors asking questions too.
Yeah.
You talked about say venues being, you know, a really good source of leads for you. How did you go about, I guess, nurturing those relationships with those vendors?
Yeah, like it does take time. I think that's a big thing. It doesn't just like happen overnight. So I think originally it's more just maybe reaching out, doing styled shoot there. I think it's just literally, kind of investing in shoots at the venue to create imagery for them. Or if they have like a tasting night or a showcase or something, then like offer to like, you know, do the flowers for the tasting night, or, you know, kind of just putting yourself out there. We have the wedding guide that we've like sent around to a lot of venues at the start of this year. We kind of do that every year once we kind of finalize the pricing for that year. And we find that like really good. Just kind of keeps people like forefront of their mind. They got really pretty imagery, and it is because we go to so many different venues. You might not see them like very consistently, because I don't think we have full consistent, like, you know, every week we're at the same venue. We do like really kind of spread around a little bit. So you might not see them in like a month or 2 months or something like that. So it's just, it takes time. But I think the initial thing would be to do shoots, and like offering to like invest money into like photos for their business.
For their advertising, for their marketing, to help them grow.
Yeah. I think like with Refinery, I think at the start, they were having these brunches. Again, this is back in like 2019. And then I'm like, okay, like I'll do the flowers for their brunches. And, you know, after a while it's like, cool, now like we're their preferred supplier. And we get like a lot of bookings through the Refinery. So I think that's taken like, you know, how many years, like now 2018. So I don't think it's like something that can just happen overnight. It's really like a relationship that's built like over years and years. Yeah.
I think even just like talking to venue owners, venue managers, like they are humans as well.
Yes, definitely.
And even like I speak to, at the end of the year, I'll kind of go through and work out how many, you know, weddings I shot at each venue.
Yeah, that's good.
And then even just be like, I'll just give them an email like, hey guys, like just letting you know, I got X amount of work because of you this year. You know, that helped pay for my family and everything like that. And I think just sending those emails and showing your appreciation to that.
Yeah.
And it's probably, I mean, like photographers like, hey, do you need headshots for your staff?
Yes,
do you need anything like that? And just trying to think outside of the box, because I feel like there's so much take in this industry. Yeah. So trying to think of like, how can we do something different?
Yeah, definitely.
It's not that hard to stand out, I don't think.
Yes. And I think like even the end of the year, like a nice Christmas card and some like cookies or something, you know, something like that, like essential. So we do that as well, like at the end of every year. But it does like, it's a long process, and you need to kind of let it be patient. You know, you don't want to be like pushy or anything like that.
Are you still doing styled shoots now?
Not really. I mean, we might do like one a year potentially. It's just such an outlay for florists. So it's like if you're spending like $1,500, $2,000 on flowers for a shoot, it's like it really kind of needs to be like worth it.
This has to be in vogue. Like,
yes,
definitely.
I know. So it's kind of like, so it depends. I think if someone like, I probably wouldn't organize on myself, but if someone like a stylist that I really wanted to work with, or at a venue I really want to work at, like, you know, pitch something, then I'll think about it and do it. But it definitely, like, it's a lot more considered than it used to be. I think at the start it was like, styled shoot all the time.
And now, like you said, if a venue does come to you, you are almost reciprocating, like, yes, thank you so much for all the work you've said to me. I'll put money back in, and it just kind of keeps going back that way.
Yes,
as well.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, do you have any other exciting plans for the future?
I think it's just like, I think I'm kind of more of like a slow and steady approach to like the business. I am kind of just about like getting kind of like a 1% better like every day. And I don't know if you listen to the podcast, like CEO.
Yeah. I was listening on the way up here. Yeah.
So like obviously like his kind of like business philosophy is like 1% better like every day. So it's like slowly improving your business, making processes slightly better. So, you know, over the year, then you have like a better business and a better like lifestyle than you did have a year before. So I think we're kind of like, we kind of go, oh, okay, maybe the proposals should include this. Okay, let's like add that in as a template. That's what we'll do today. We're going to clean up the imagery in our Canva, to make it easier for people to access the right images. Just things like this. It's just like a slow process of like getting better. So I'm never like let's like rebrand and completely change everything and offer this and offer this. I think I'm more like let's like take it one day at a time. Let's like slowly improve our processes for our business and for our team and for our clients as well. So that's, I guess I would kind of move with that kind of philosophy in terms of, scaling as well. Like I'm not like, I'm going to take over the world, and I'm like happy and okay to kind of go at this pace. And I'm like, excited that we had about 60 weddings like booked last year, and we're probably on track to hit like 80. And I think like I'm pretty happy with that. Like I don't think we need to like really get more. Like I'm okay with the growth that we're at the moment. Yeah.
Are you working with like a business coach or something for all
Yes,
this?
actually.
Okay.
So that's true. I did hire a business coach at the end of last year just to I hadn't never spent any money like in the business. And I was like, probably time to.
Now's the time.
We're like 7 years in. And I like having like a good like healthy like contingency as well. Like so I'm like, okay, well I can probably spend some of this contingency now on a business coach. So that's been like really interesting, getting a different like perspective in relating to like finances as well, and also about processes and like making the website way more like user friendly and like things I wouldn't have like thought about.
Has there been like one bit of knowledge that you've gained from this person that you're just like, aha, and it's changed a lot?
I think it's more like generally like for like the website, I think we were trying to make it very aesthetic, right? But then it's like, it's a little bit clunky sometimes because there's like not a lot of information on it because it's so pretty and so image based. You kind of make it really aesthetic, but like there's not a lot of information on there. So they were like, no, you need to kind of be a little bit more easier for people to like see where you're at. What do you do? So we kind of have added a lot more information onto the website. We've kind of put processes in where like they can download the wedding guide, sends them an email, and now we have like their email addresses. So then we have like, that was like 250 people now who's like downloaded in the last like month. So now we're like, cool. Our next step is then to like retarget with like we've made a seasonal availability flower information sheet for people. So that's in the process of being made. So we'll send that out as an email to everyone. And then we might like just every month just start like implementing a blog about like a recent wedding that we've done and kind of retarget like a lot of the people that have downloaded this booklet to be like, if you want to book a consult, then book in a consult. So I think that is more of like a thing of just like kind of capturing your client a bit easier. Yeah. And then like we've been tracking a lot more of like how many proposals that we've been doing and how many have been converting as well. And weirdly enough, we have seen like an increase in our conversions. I'm not really sure why, but we're just tracking a lot more of the data, I think. And I think that will help make better business decisions.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cool how something like that, and like it takes you 7 years on the same, where you're just like all of a sudden something happens and you're like, I need to do this now.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's just exponential growth again.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So just implementing all that and doing paid marketing for the first time. Like we haven't done that before. So we're just seeing how the results go with that as well. To see if like Instagram is where it's at, or Google is where it's at. At the moment, I'm thinking Google isn't really where it's at. I think because it's too cold. I think the consumer is too cold. So they're kind of just typing wedding florist and they don't really have an idea of your business, what you do, what your minimum spend is, where you service kind of thing. So I think probably Instagram is a bit more beneficial for us, but it's just testing that and getting more data. Yeah, researching who our client is and trying to knuckle down on that.
Far out. Do you coach any other florists, or
No.
Doesn't interest you at all?
No.
Okay. Because I feel like after this episode, you might have a few people asking you some questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's not an interest.
I mean, you can like, email me. I might be able to respond, but like, no.
Depends if you're overseas, frolicking about or something
exactly.
like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, do you have any, we've been almost an hour now.
Yeah, wow. An hour.
Do you have any kind of final hints and tips for couples at all on that side?
Yeah, I think just, kind of looking at once you booked your venue, look at your budget and kind of really assess like where your priorities are. I think that's like really important for couples. And then it is a thing I think of going on Instagram and then seeing the florist that you're like vibing with as well. Really getting that information from like these guides. A lot of florists like have them, or if you contact them, they will send you like a pricing guide. I think just like trying to get information before you kind of make that like initial like inquiry sometimes. Yeah, I think that's kind of.
I even tell couples like don't like choose 3 florists.
Yeah.
Don't go crazy. Like
Yes.
don't you're gonna overwhelm yourself.
Yes, because it can get so overwhelming.
And then even like I notice a big one, like when I get inquiries, I will literally book between like 24 to 48 hours after the first like the inquiry.
Yeah.
Anything over that, like the chance of booking
that.
is kind of gone.
Yes.
And so like I'll say that to couples straight up. I was like, look, you know, most of my couples will book between this time frame. Because they know like I am the one for them.
Yeah.
And like if this isn't the case, like there will be someone for you that does happen to you.
Yes, definitely.
So it's like, don't get overwhelmed. Just choose 3 that you love and approach them and then kind of go from there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. There's a lot of people on Instagram right now.
I know there's a lot of content going out. And obviously like, the venues obviously have, I think that's a good starting place as well, right? And then just having a look and then, contacting them. I think I've been like a lot quicker with communication this year. So I think that's also been something that I've realized is really important. So like instead of like, you know, we have so many things on. So it's like I'm not always on the computer because I'm actually making things and delivering things and setting things up. So, you know, I always just say like, you know, within like 24 hours. So I'm really trying to get in that 24 hour. And like if I respond on the same day, it just kind of creates a little bit more trust. Weirdly, like straight away that they know like they can communicate with you and you're going to get back to them really quickly.
I'm still toying with the idea at the moment. I've been like for about a month, I had like an automated email like, hey, just letting you know this is automated.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm available yet.
Yeah.
But then I also found like the actual same thing, bookings off those leads dropped, which is strange. Like, because I feel like once you want prices and everything like that, you kind of just want it now.
Yeah.
But then if I don't send that email, like a lot more people will book, even if they have to wait 24 hours. Yeah. But they're a lot higher, like they book then.
Yes, exactly.
So it's so weird, like to know what to do. Like everyone's like, you got to get back to people straight away.
Yeah.
But then also, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's always hard to know. I think we've even just like added like a consult. You can book in a consult through the website. Like Calendly, like we hadn't used that before. Yeah. So that's also been kind of interesting as well because people have been like, you know, set like, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like 10 to 4, like our consult times. And people have been using that function and that just stops me from going, when are you free? You know, sending
Monday.
that, when are you free?
What's up?
I know. This happens all the time to me.
Killer.
I swear. It's like Monday at 6 p.m. And I'm like, oh, I can't do it. Can we do Tuesday? Oh, no. Oh, Wednesday. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah. So it just cuts that out. And I'm like, maybe that is helping as well. So, yeah, I think that'll be interesting at the end of the year to try and be like, what helped?
Exactly. Like you said, 1% every day.
1% every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. And then where can people find you on website, socials, all that kind of thing?
Yeah. So on Instagram, we're garden.graffiti. Yep. And our website is www.gardengraffiti.com.au.
Amazing. Kat, thanks so much for coming on.
Great. Thank you for having me.
That was amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thanks for tuning in to the WedCopodcast. If you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, follow, and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a review or connect with us on social media. New episodes drop every week, so be sure to join us next time for more wedding inspiration, tips, and stories. Until then, happy planning, and we'll see you soon.